What's going on, guys? This is Mike Collins, Smoke Some Barbecue. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. If this is your first time, appreciate you stopping by and checking out our channel. Today, we're actually going to smoke a brisket, but we're going to use our 22-inch Weber Smokey Mountain, and we're going to set it up to run like a pellet smoker. Set it and forget it. We got some ThermoWorks products that we're going to use in order to achieve that. We're going to run it somewhat low and slow, get some good smoke flavor on it. We already got the Weber Smokey Mountain all fired up behind me, which you can see. We're running it with Kingsford charcoal. We lit it with our propane torch, and we have some pecan wood chunks scattered throughout that charcoal. So we got some good smoke flavor on this that's going to go on. And right now, all we have left is to get our brisket all seasoned up. Last night, we went ahead and trimmed it already. I don't have a video of me trimming this brisket. I have other videos of me trimming briskets. This brisket was just under 11 pounds. After the trimming, it came out right at 8 pounds. So we're going to go ahead and let this one run fat cap down. And typically I run fat cap up on all of mine when I'm running on my offset smokers. But because we're running on a drum, or in this case a bullet, we always run fat cap down because that heat source is coming from the bottom. So let's go ahead and get this brisket all seasoned up, get it ready, and get it on the WSM. All right, first thing we're gonna do is hit it with just a little bit of some Worcestershire sauce. This brisket has been dry brining with just diamond crystal salt in the fridge overnight. So it dried out, which is what we were looking to achieve. We want to get that good salt flavor penetration all the way through. So we are just putting that Worcestershire sauce on here so we can get something for the seasoning to tack up to. We are using 16 mesh black pepper as our base. Just get a nice even coat of that black pepper. Remember, this is going to be the bottom side of this brisket this time. This brisket is right out of the fridge too, so super cold. Next, we're going to hit it with my own AP rub, which is what I use for all my briskets. And I will put the recipe in the description below in case you want to give it a try. That nice and patted in. I'm going to flip this over to our presentation side, just like that. Some Worcestershire on this side as well. And there we go. Now, let's just go ahead and get this bad boy put on our Weber Smokey Mountain and let her do her thing. Get that lid opened up. We want to do this fast. We don't want that fire to get out of control on us. The more likely that fire is to get out of control. Starts to heat up, just like that. All right, guys, so as you can see behind me, we got our Weber Smokey Mountain rolling. We got our brisket on, but here's what I want to let you guys know about, okay? I mentioned earlier that I'm going to run this Weber Smokey Mountain like I would a pellet grill, set it and forget it, pay no attention to it other than checking on the brisket itself. But as far as temp control goes, I'm not going to do anything with this because what I'm using is ThermoWorks products. I have RFX ThermoWorks Gateway for running my temp on this Weber Smokey Mountain. And in conjunction with that, I'm using the ThermoWorks Billows fan as well. And what that does is allows me to hook up the fan to the bottom of this Weber Smokey Mountain and run an ambient probe temp at the grate and set whatever temp that I want in this smoker, and that fan will pulse, turn on, turn off, do whatever it needs to do to maintain that temp or very close to that temp without me touching or doing anything for temperature control. Now, for a relatively small investment, and the reason I'm doing this and showing you this brisket specifically on the Weber Smokey Mountain today is because these things are cheap. You can pick these up on Marketplace or used for, you know, $200 to $300 all day long. Brand new, the 18-inch is like 420 bucks, and the 22-inch, like this one behind me, is like $550. I have both the 22 and the 18. They're both awesome. I take the 18 with me in my toy hauler when I camp. I leave the 22 here at home to use. But these things are amazing. Even without the fan set up, they're very hands-off. But with the fan, ain't nothing I gotta do to maintain these temps and get killer results every single time. So I will put the link down, or some links down in the description for some ThermoWorks products. I'm not affiliated. I don't get anything for it. I love their products. I think ThermoWorks is amazing. I am running an S1 Chef's Temp on top that I just put on, simply because I'm doing some testing. I want to see exactly how far off some of these temps are from ThermoWorks. For me, ThermoWorks is the gold standard for temperature in the food business. So I'm trusting ThermoWorks on everything I do. I'm just running the Chef Temp because I want to check it out, give it a shot, see how it does, and see how much those temp variations are on that dome lid. So let's go ahead, continue to let this ThermoWorks do what it does, and I'll show you a close-up of the setup that I'm running on here. So let's check it out. We got our Billows fan right there. You can see it's on our main inlet where I have the other holes covered up, and I have the fan going into the one open hole, and I have that fan plugged in to my gateway, and I have my gateway plugged into a ThermoWorks battery pack, so I can run this completely mobile without power. So when I go camping, I take this setup with me and run it on my 18-inch all the time, and that is just going to keep that temperature right where I want it. Right now at great temp, we're reading on our ThermoWorks app right at 250 degrees. You can see here, if we look at our Chef's Temp up top, it's running 277 degrees, which is to be predicted. Temps are going to be higher up top as heat rises. And so again, we have all of our inlets, our intakes, closed down completely except for the one that the fan's plugged into right there. And right now we have our exhaust cracked about 1/4 of the way open. We're just going to let this run and do its thing. There's not a lot for me to do here, so I'll go find something else to do while this pit runs at the steady 250 degrees that I set it to. All right, guys, our brisket's been on exactly 2 hours right now. Our dome temp on the Chef Temp is reading 262, 264. Our ThermoWorks Great Temp that we have in here is reading right at 252 to 254. So we got about a 10-degree difference between those. That's to be expected. Not running much hotter up here than it is down here. Much more closer together in temps as this thing settled in a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at this brisket, see what she looks like after just 2 hours. Looking good. Not much for us to do. I'm not going to split. Literally just wanted to take a peek, so we'll go ahead and get this shut down. All right, guys, so we have hit right at our 4-hour mark, and it is time to check on this brisket. I haven't opened this lid one time, and she is looking good. I don't have any probes in this or anything yet, so why don't we go ahead and use our Thermopin 1 and check and see what we're probing. 157, right in the middle, thick part of the flat. The point, we're looking at 157 and 158. Talk about an even cook. That's perfect. So we are not ready. Our bark is setting up nicely, but it's not quite there. Not quite where I want it yet. So we're gonna let this continue to go for probably another couple hours until we get into the 170s before we wrap it. Get her shut down. All right, guys, this brisket has now been on 8 hours. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. So we are going to go ahead, double check the internal temp. My RFX wireless probe says we're about, I think like 172, 175, 176, 194, 197, 198. Running a lot hotter in the point, getting kind of tender, but we got a long ways to go here in the flat still. So we're gonna go ahead and get this wrapped up, do things just a little bit different than I usually do, because we're gonna put this right into a foil pan, just like that. Now let's go ahead and get some au jus added to that and get it wrapped up. This is a beef juice, au jus, whatever you want to call it, that I made. I will put the recipe for this in the description. This is great as a finishing sauce after you slice your brisket and just do a light drizzle over it, or in this case, putting it in to allow this brisket to braise a little bit. I'm not sure that I mentioned it in the beginning, but we're actually doing chopped beef brisket sandwiches with this, which is why we're choosing to braise it in the foil before we rest it overnight in our warming oven. So let's go ahead and get this covered up and get it back on the smoker and get that lid shut down. Just like that. We're gonna curl these up and down a little bit. You can see some flames going down, so we know we're getting hot. So we don't want to keep this lid open too much longer. Want to get it shut down. We'll let this go until she's probe tender, so we'll check back in probably an hour. All right, guys, so again, this brisket's been on the WSM for 8 hours solid. I have not messed with the temp. I haven't adjusted any settings. I haven't done anything manually at this smoker. We let this thing ride at 250 degrees for most of the cook. At the 6 hour mark, all I did was add a ThermoWorks probe in there so we could monitor the internal temp of that brisket. And then we bumped the temperature up to about 270 degrees from 250 on the ThermoWorks app, and that's it. I'm literally running this WSM like I would a pellet smoker. It's easy as can be. We just wrapped our brisket by putting it into a foil pan, wrapping it up, putting some homemade beef au jus that I put together real quick so it kind of braise in there and collect those extra juices, because we are tomorrow going to chop this up for chopped brisket sandwiches. I got some family coming over, and that's the plan. We're also going to do a couple racks of ribs tomorrow morning as well, but we're having chopped brisket sandwiches, some ribs, and some sides for tomorrow. So we're going to let this go until she's completely probe tender. Right now the point's at about 96, 97 degrees, not quite fully tender in the point. The flat in most cases is between like 185 and 190, and that's got a little ways to go as well. We're probably going to end up pulling this around 200, maybe 203, who knows. But the most important part is making sure it's probe tender. The number is just a guide. Once she's tender, we're going to pull it out, let that temp drop just a little bit so we know it's not cooking anymore. And then we're going to hold it hot overnight at 150 degrees in our warmer and hold it there until tomorrow night when it's time to serve it up. We'll check back with you here in about a half hour, maybe 45 minutes to see where she's at. All right, guys, so this brisket has officially been on for 11 hours. And it is time to check it out, see how that tenderness is coming along, see if it's time to pull it. We're definitely like butter in the point, just how we want it. 206, 200, 203, 206, 207, and 205. It is pretty tender going in and out, not a challenge at all. So we're gonna go ahead and get this pulled off now. Let it sit on the counter for just a bit so we can make sure it stops cooking. And then we're gonna get this dropped into our warmer. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we got our brisket off the smoker. It's been sitting out. It's super cold out right now, so it didn't take long for that temperature to drop. So we know the brisket's not cooking anymore. Now we're gonna go ahead and drop it into our warmer. We have it set to 148 degrees. Just got this morning, put it together, tested it for a few hours today. Ridiculously impressed with how steady the temp is. Set it for 148, it stayed right at 148 to 149. Tested it with some third-party probes just to verify. And like I said, stable temps, awesome. So we're gonna do a long hot hold on this to rest it overnight, all the way until tomorrow when we're ready to chop this thing up and make our sandwiches. So let's get it in this holding oven, and then it's time to go to bed. There we go. It's time to get to sleep. Check on this in the morning. We'll bring you back when it's time to chop this bad boy up. All right, guys, so here we are. It's the next day. We got our brisket sitting in our warmer right behind me. I'm gonna get ready to pull it. We smoked this brisket for 11 hours and it's been resting for 16 hours. We're gonna pull it, we're gonna slice it, we're gonna chop it, we're gonna see how we did and get it ready for serving here in the next hour when we got family showing up. So let's take a look. All right, here we go. Here's our brisket in all her glory. Let's go ahead and slice in and see how we did. Check the flat first. You can see that big gash that we had from when we were trimming it. Check out the point side. Got some good flop. Holding together under its own weight. Checks out. Let's take a look at our point side. Not too shabby. Juicy. We got good fat rendering. Pulls apart with ease. Check the flat one more time. See, clearly pulls apart like nothing. Say we did pretty good. So let's go ahead and get this completely sliced up. We're gonna save that piece right there for me. That's my try it piece. Remember, we're doing chopped brisket sandwiches. So we are just cutting this up to make some delicious sandwiches. So juicy, you can feel it. It's tender, breaking apart so easy. Same thing over here with our flat. Flash is slicing like butter. Get this chopped up nice and small. Probably not the best knife for chopping necessarily, but it'll work. Get the job done. All right, now that we got our brisket all chopped up the way we want it, we're gonna take a little bit of this juice that we got, put it right back in. Just like that. Give it a little toss. No barbecue sauce, just its own juices. And there we have it. Get this lidded up, some foil on it. I'm going to take some of these burnt ends that I cut. We'll save those for some individual bites. Put those just like that. And there we have it. Some foil. All right, guys, so we got that all foiled up. It's about to go back in the warmer where it's gonna sit until it's time to make some sandwiches. But before, you know we gotta try it. I'm not mad at that at all. Moist, juicy, flavorful, super savory. No sweetness at all. If people want to add barbecue sauce, they can. It's definitely not needed though. So let's go ahead and put it back in the warmer. Build some sandwiches in about an hour. All right, guys, so that's the final word on this cook. We took our Weber Smokey Mountain that you can pick up just about anywhere for $500 or less. We added a ThermoWorks RFX and a Billows fan, and we turned it into a true set it and forget it pit without giving up 1 ounce of that real charcoal and wood flavor that we're always chasing. 11 hours on the barrel, 16 hours in a hot hold at 150 degrees. This brisket came out juicy, tender, great for chopped brisket sandwiches, which is exactly what we served up to our family for dinner. If you are tired of babysitting fires, or maybe you just don't want to do it and you don't want to give up that real barbecue flavor, this setup is a game changer. If you like this video, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this with somebody who also loves barbecue. More cooks like this, more tests, and more real world barbecue coming right here on Smoke Sermon Barbecue, where we let the smoke speak. Thanks for joining in, guys. Appreciate it.